going to break our page into kind of 4 sections. So we're going to go across, down. So the things that we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about graph. We're going to be talking about equation. We're going to be talking about table of values. And we're going to be talking about the description. All of what you saw on your quiz yesterday. Alright, so what we're trying to do on this is we're going to state the characteristics. And then we're going to solve contextual problems. When we're given these 4 different types of information. Alright, so our graphs. So we're just going to doodle a quick graph here. Remember, they're always a nice smooth wave. So what information can we get from this graph? Well, remember our midline runs right through it. This is our midline. We can also find this by using the equation. Then we have our amplitude, remember, which is measured either from the max to the midline or from the midline to the min. These should be the same. So make sure you are measuring and checking with your graph. There was a couple of you that had an amplitude that didn't get you to the midline on both sides with your quiz. So this is our amplitude. And we can get it by going max minus min divided by 2. Okay. And our period, remember, is measured from 1 point. And how long does it take to get back to that same height on the different cycle of our graph? So this is our period. There's different places you can look for the period, so it's just the measure of one rotation. We can look from, like I did, a point. When do I get back to that same point? Or sometimes you can go, if it's easy to go from max to max, that's the measure of one period. Or you can go from min to min. These are all different ways that you can measure the period. And remember, our min value is just whatever this value is and the y. And our max is just this value here. So that's what we can get by looking at our graph. When we're analyzing an equation, remember, we have our equation written on our formula sheet, so we do not have to memorize it. We just have to memorize what the parts mean. Alright, so we always look at the parameters. A, B, and D. Remember C, it's just, is there or is there not a phase shift? So remember, A equals amplitude. So whatever that is, and remember it's the absolute value of A. A is always positive. So it might be written negative up here in the formula, but the amplitude, what you write, you would write that it's the positive. Okay, where people were making the mistakes yesterday is you forgot that b is not the period. So 2 pi divided by b does in fact equal the period. So I can find the period from b, but b is not the period, and the period is not b. Alright, then we have y equals d is the equation of the midline. And we know we can go d plus a to get max. And we can go d minus a to get min. And of course, we can always enter the equation into calculator. We need to make sure most of the time we need to be in radians. Basically, unless you see a degree sign. And you can use the characteristics from your, so use your parameters, the information you got up here to help find your windows. To, oops, help wow, I cannot write. Okay, to help find your windows. Because I know my max, so my y max should be bigger than my max, my y min should be bigger than or smaller than my min. Period kind of tells you if I want to see one full cycle, how big do I have to make x? So use this information to help you. Table of values. So again, we've seen a couple of these. So we have x on top, y. A very lovely table of values. This is when we want to perform a sinusoidal regression. So remember, this is in our stat. It's the C. And it's going to pop out your equation. Just like that. And then this is again where people make stuff or had issues on the quiz. Use the regression to solve the problems. So in the one where we were trying to find the percent of time below 66 degrees Fahrenheit, you were trying to use the table to find it. We need to use the regression to solve the problems. So you would want to graph it, and you would want to find the information from the graph. Okay. And again, description, well, you might have to generate a table of values. I made you do that in one of your homeworks, actually 2 of your homeworks. Then you can use that table of values to make a regression. And then you can use the regression to solve the problems. Or you look for keywords. So again, the one on our quiz, if it talks about radius or diameter, it is telling you about A. If it's talking about the period, how long it takes to go around, What's one full revolution, one full cycle? It's telling you that you can find b. 2 pi divided by the period equals b. If it's talking about the center, specifically the height of the center, this is telling you about the midline. It could talk about the tallest, highest, lowest, any of those type of words. This is telling you about the max or min, which you can use to help find your amplitude or midline. Alright. So there we have it. Those are kind of all of the things that we're looking for in this one. The key one that I noticed on the quiz was this idea here. A lot of you guys forgot that it's not the period we put into the graph. We have to find the b value. So you find the period from the graph, 2 pi divided by that period gives you your b value. Or 2 pi divided by b gives you your period if they gave you the equation. Alright, so good luck. Answer key is up with this written out if the video went too fast. I shall hopefully see you later today.